Here we go again. The crystal chandelier throws rainbows across the ballroom, catching the identical facets of the diamond ring Chen Lin slides onto my cousin Vanessa's finger. Champagne pops somewhere behind me, a soundtrack to the scene replaying note for perfect note. His earnest declaration, her practiced blush, the murmur of approval from the gathered elite, it's a nauseating déjà vu. Last time, I was the wreck crumpled in the corner, watching the man I loved pledge himself to the cousin who'd always seen me as a stepping stone. My heart had felt like shattered glass inside my chest. This time, my heart beats steady. My spine is straight. My smile, though small, is genuine. Because this time, unlike the clueless ghosts surrounding me, I know exactly what comes next. And this time, I'm holding the strings. Vanessa catches my eye across the room, her smile widening into that familiar smug curve. She lifts her hand, flashing the ring, a silent boast. I lift my champagne flute in a polite, non-committal toast. Let her have her moment. It's the last one she'll truly savor. The difference isn't just my foreknowledge, it's the power simmering beneath my calm exterior. The game has reset, but I'm the only one who remembers the previous match, and I've already changed the rules. Monday morning. The air in the Globe Tech boardroom is thick with the scent of old money and new desperation. Specifically, Mr. Chen's desperation. Chen Lin's father, my employee. He stands at the head of the polished mahogany table, clicking through his quarterly report slides. Same presentation style as before, same nervous throat clearing. He doesn't recognize me. Why would he? The mousy, earnest junior analyst he fired years ago, in another lifetime, bears little resemblance to the woman sitting silently at the opposite end of the table, the new majority shareholder who acquired this division last month. He just sees a young, intimidatingly wealthy boss, and he's sweating. I can see the damp patches spreading under the arms of his expensive suit jacket. I deliberately, slowly check the diamond-encrusted watch on my wrist. Not because I'm bored, but because I want him to see it. I want him to feel the pressure, the seconds ticking away on his carefully constructed world. The faint, acrid scent of his fear cuts through the expensive cologne he douses himself in. It's a pathetic smell. Any questions? He asks, his voice tight. The other board members, mostly loyalists I inherited with the acquisition, shift uncomfortably. They sense the tension, the unspoken power play, but they don't understand its roots buried in a past only I recall. I let the silence stretch, enjoying the way his Adam's apple bobs. No, Mr. Chen, I finally say, my voice smooth and even. Carry on. He visibly deflates, relief warring with confusion. He doesn't know the ambush isn't the questions I could ask, but the ones I don't need to. I already know where all the bodies are buried, his included. The city lights glitter below my penthouse windows, a diamond scatter against black velvet. The cork eases out of the vintage champagne bottle with a soft sigh, not a pop. This isn't a boisterous celebration. It's a quiet acknowledgement of a battle begun. I saved this bottle, a ridiculously expensive vintage, specifically for this moment, the moment Chen Lin's father became mine to manage. I pour a single glass, the bubbles rising like tiny ghosts. A toast to the invisible chess pieces clicking into place on a board only I can fully see. To the future I'm meticulously crafting from the wreckage of the past. A flash of memory, sharp and unwanted, standing in Mr. Chen's old office at GlobeTech, smaller, less ostentatious than this penthouse view. Rain lashed against the window. He'd slid the falsified reports across the desk. Just sign off, Anya. It's standard procedure. Don't make waves. My refusal, the disbelief on his face, quickly replaced by cold dismissal. You're clearly not cut out for this industry. Pack your things. The humiliation burned hotter than the shame. He hadn't just fired me, he'd tried to break my integrity first. I take a slow sip of the champagne. It tastes like victory. Cold, sharp, and utterly satisfying. He thought he ended my career. He has no idea he just handed me the keys to his kingdom. My assistant Chloe places the final acquisition documents on my desk. Her eyes, usually professionally neutral, are wide with disbelief as she glances at the purchase price for Chen Lin's father's specific department within GlobeTech. Miss Lin, are you sure about this figure? She whispers, leaning closer. All this for a division that's been struggling for the last 2 quarters? The analysts say it's dead weight. I pick up my pen, its weight familiar and grounding. The analysts see numbers, Chloe. I see potential. I sign my name with a flourish, the ink stark against the heavy paper. She retreats, still looking baffled but too professional to press further. She thinks I've overpaid, made a rookie mistake blinded by ego or bad advice. Let her. Let them all think it. Chloe doesn't know the truth. I haven't just bought a struggling corporate division, I've bought leverage. I've bought access. Files, records, personnel loyalties, hidden accounts. The skeletal structure of the Chen family's business dealings, built partly on the corner I was forced out of. I'm not interested in the department's official assets. I'm interested in the secrets tucked away in its dusty server rooms and long-forgotten file cabinets. Secrets that will unravel the meticulously crafted empire Chen Lin and his father built, brick by painful brick, on the ashes of my previous life. This isn't an investment. It's the first precise incision in a very calculated dissection. Lunch. The clink of silverware on porcelain. The low hum of conversation at the city's most exclusive rooftop restaurant. Vanessa sits opposite me, radiating smug satisfaction. She looks exactly the same. Polished, expensive, with that underlying brittleness I now recognize as insecurity masked by privilege. Anya, darling, you look wonderful, she gushes, touching my arm briefly. Her touch feels like ice. Running Globetech's new acquisition must be thrilling, though, honestly, Daddy says that division was practically worthless. A casual barb, meant to remind me of my place even now. She doesn't remember the girl whose ideas she stole, whose confidence she systematically undermined. She just sees a suddenly successful cousin, someone potentially useful. Her signature perfume, something light and floral that I used to envy desperately in my past life, now clings to the air, heavy and cloying. It makes my stomach churn. It has its challenges, I reply smoothly, taking a sip of water. Well, speaking of challenges, she leans in conspiratorially, Chen Lin is finding the job market surprisingly tight. With your connections now, maybe you could find a place for him. Something senior, of course. He's brilliant, you know. The sheer audacity steals my breath for a second. Asking me to hire the man who chose her over me. Twice. My throat tightens. A flash, vivid and unwelcome. Vanessa standing before Uncle Raymond, presenting my carefully researched business proposal, her voice confident, her eyes sliding past mine without a flicker of guilt. Uncle Raymond had praised her ingenuity. I was told to learn from my cousin's natural business acumen. I'll certainly keep him in mind if a suitable position opens up, I lie, offering a tight smile. But we're restructuring. It might take time. She beams, satisfied. Wonderful. I knew I could count on you, cousin. She has no idea what she can count on me for. He walks into my office, radiating the same easy confidence that once captivated me. Chen Lin, older now, lines etched faintly around his eyes, but still devastatingly handsome. He thinks this is just another pitch meeting, a chance to impress the mysterious new owner of a Globetech division. He has no memory of rainy afternoons spent huddled in my tiny apartment, sharing dreams and cheap takeout. No memory of whispered promises. No memory of dumping me the instant Vanessa, with her family connections and blatant maneuvering, showed interest. Miss Lin, thank you for seeing me, he says, extending a hand. His voice, that low timbre still sends an involuntary flutter through my chest, a ghost of affection I ruthlessly suppress. I force myself to meet his handshake with cool professionalism, my touch brief. Mr. Chen, please sit. He launches into his pitch for a collaborative venture, smoothly outlining potential synergies, dropping names, exuding charm. He's good, I'll give him that. He always was good at selling himself. He just never valued what he was selling. I listen patiently, asking pointed questions that subtly expose the flaws in his proposal, watching the confidence flicker slightly in his eyes. He's not used to being challenged, especially not by a woman he likely sizes up as just another inherited fortune. Your ideas are ambitious, Mr. Chen, I say finally, leaning back in my chair. I'll need time to review this. He plasters on a smile. Of course, I'm confident you'll see the value. He stands, lingering for a moment too long. Perhaps we could discuss this further over dinner? My schedule is quite full. I reply coolly. My assistant will be in touch. His smile tightens almost imperceptibly before he nods and leaves. The moment the door clicks shut, I pull open the bottom drawer of my desk. Inside lies a meticulously recreated file. Financial discrepancies, offshore accounts, project funds diverted. Evidence of corporate espionage his father orchestrated and Chen Lin benefited from in our last life. Evidence I painstakingly reconstructed using the access my new position affords me. He thinks he's pitching a future partnership. He has no idea I'm holding the key to his past destruction. Sunday dinner at the family estate. The air smells of roasted lamb and old resentments. Aunt Irene, Vanessa's mother, presides over the table like a queen surveying her court. Her diamonds glitter under the chandelier, casting sharp, cold light. "Anya, dear," she says, her voice dripping with false sweetness. "It's so brave of you taking on such a challenging role, especially with your limited experience in acquisitions." She gestures dismissively with a hand weighed down by jewels, the clink of her diamond bracelet against the fine china punctuating the insult. Limited experience, because the successes I scraped together in my past life, before they crushed me, counted for nothing in her eyes. "I'm finding it quite manageable, Aunt Irene," I reply, keeping my tone light. She smiles tightly. "Well, don't hesitate to ask Raymond or Vanessa for guidance. Family helps family, after all." A flashback hits me hard. Aunt Irene's voice on the phone, saccharine but laced with venom, spreading rumors after Vanessa stole my work. Poor Anya. She'd sighed to a mutual acquaintance, loud enough for me to overhear at a party. She takes rejection so poorly. Making up stories about Vanessa, it's quite unstable, really. Those whispers, amplified by Irene's social standing, had been devastating to my fledgling reputation. Now she offers help while simultaneously reminding me of my perceived inadequacy. Her manipulations are as predictable as the tides. I meet her gaze across the table, holding it just long enough to convey that I'm no longer intimidated. She looks away first. The coffee shop is buzzing, a stark contrast to the tense silence settling between Wei Zheng and me. She sits opposite me, fidgeting, unable to meet my eyes for more than a second. Wei, my former best friend, the one who listened to my heartbroken confessions about Chen Lin, my frustrations with Vanessa, my fears about my career, and then relayed every vulnerability, every secret back to Vanessa. For what? Social proximity? A better job recommendation from Uncle Raymond? She doesn't know why I, the suddenly powerful Anya Lin, asked her for coffee. She just knows she's deeply uncomfortable. Her fingers tremble as she lifts her cup, leaving damp condensation rings on the polished table. "Anya, it's great to see you," she stammers. "You're doing so well. Everyone's talking about it." "It's been an interesting time," I say noncommittally. "Listen," she blurts out, rushing the words. "I know this is awkward, us not talking for so long, but I'm actually looking for a new position, marketing. My current place is a dead end. I was wondering, with your new role, if you knew of anything?" The irony is almost painful. She's asking for my help finding a job, completely unaware that I just finalized the acquisition of the very company she's hoping to escape, the one Uncle Raymond secured for her after her betrayal in our last life. "Send me your resume, Wei," I say, my voice neutral. "I'll see what I can do." Relief floods her face. "Oh, Anya, thank you. That means so much." She has no idea what seeing what I can do truly entails. Her fate, like so many others, now rests entirely in my hands. A mandatory family gathering. Birthdays or anniversaries, they all blur into the same performance of familial harmony. Uncle Raymond corners me near the overflowing buffet table, a predatory glint in his eyes, masked by an avuncular smile. He's the patriarch, the one who pulls the strings, the one who subtly blocked every opportunity for my advancement in my past life while championing Vanessa at every turn. "Anya, my dear girl," he says, clapping a heavy hand on my shoulder. "Impressive work with that Globe Tech division. Risky, but impressive. Now, I have a little venture. It needs a strategic investor, someone sharp like you, a ground floor opportunity. Same old manipulation. Dangle a carrot, appeal to my ambition, all while ensuring the real power stays firmly within his chosen circle. Last time, I might have been flattered, desperate for his approval. This time, I see right through it. Thank you for thinking of me, Uncle, I say politely, extricating myself from his grasp. But my focus is entirely on integrating the new division right now. My investment capital is fully committed. His smile doesn't reach his eyes. He's not used to being refused. A pity. Let me know if you change your mind. As he turns away, my phone buzzes discreetly in my clutch. A text message from my financial advisor. Confirmation. Purchase of Chen Enterprises outstanding debt complete. We hold the controlling notes. I allow myself a small, hidden smile. Uncle Raymond thinks he's offering me a seat at his table. He doesn't realize I just bought the bank that holds the mortgage on his entire house. His ground floor opportunity is about to hit bedrock. The family business meeting, same long table, same expectant faces turned towards Uncle Raymond. And just like before, Vanessa stands up to present the quarterly market analysis. Except it's not her analysis. It's mine. Again, I deliberately left a preliminary draft on a shared family server, baiting the hook. And just like clockwork, she took it, tweaked a few visuals, added her name, and is now presenting my insights, my projections, my painstakingly researched conclusions as her own brilliant work. The déjà vu is suffocating. She confidently clicks through the slides, her voice smooth, occasionally glancing at Chen Lin for approval, which he gives with a proud, possessive smile. Uncle Raymond nods along, impressed. Aunt Irene beams. No one else in the room notices the subtle flaws I deliberately left in, the traps waiting to be sprung. Excellent work, Vanessa, Uncle Raymond declares when she finishes. Truly insightful. Vanessa preens, accepting the compliments. She glances at me, a flicker of challenge in her eyes, daring me to object. I keep my expression carefully neutral, offering a tight, forced smile. Inside, I bite the soft flesh of my cheek until I taste the metallic tang of blood. The effort to maintain composure is immense. Last time, I had screamed, accused, pointed fingers, and they'd labeled me hysterical, jealous. This time, silence is my weapon. Let her think she's won this round. Her victory is built on sand. Days later, the annual industry gala, a glittering affair swarming with the city's business elite. Music drifts, champagne flows endlessly. I spot Vanessa holding court, recounting her success at the family meeting to a circle of admiring investors. Chen Lin stands beside her, a hand possessively on her waist, his face glowing with pride. I make my way over, navigating the crowded room with practiced ease. Vanessa, congratulations, I say, my voice pitched just loud enough for the surrounding group to hear clearly. Your market analysis presentation was truly innovative. Everyone's talking about it. Her eyes widen slightly, surprised by my public endorsement, then narrow with suspicion before settling into smug satisfaction. Thank you, Anya. It was just a few insights I pulled together. Modest as always, I murmur, raising my champagne glass in a mock toast. Behind the crystal rim, my eyes remain cold, calculating. Chen Lin nods at me, a flicker of something unreadable. Gratitude? Pity? In his expression before turning back to adore his fiancée. I let them soak it in. The praise, the attention, the illusion of triumph. My passivity isn't weakness, it's camouflage. While they bask in the artificial glow of stolen glory, my real plan is already in motion. They see me conceding defeat. They don't see the ground crumbling beneath their feet. My office. The city sprawls below, a tapestry of lights against the deepening night. The only illumination inside comes from my monitors and the soft glow filtering in from the skyline. The silence is broken only by the quiet click of my keyboard and the murmur of my voice on the phone. One call after another. Investment partners, hedge fund managers, market analysts. I've cultivated relationships with. Discreetly, carefully. John, yes. Regarding the Chen Enterprises projection Vanessa Lin presented, did you happen to notice the correlation anomaly on page 17? Yes, precisely. Looks strong on the surface, but the underlying data set seems incomplete, doesn't it? Raises questions about the entire forecast model. Just something to consider. Sarah, good evening. That analysis making the rounds? Seems overly optimistic given the Q3 raw data feed I'm looking at. Possible manipulation of baseline figures? Wouldn't want anyone overexposed based on flawed projections. Tread carefully. I don't explicitly accuse, I plant seeds of doubt. I highlight the flaws I deliberately embedded. I guide their focus towards the inconsistencies. Then, the final step. Using an encrypted connection and a burner laptop, I anonymously leak key documents, internal emails showing the timeline of the analysis creation, clearly originating from my initial draft. Metadata proving the file's origin. Just enough to confirm plagiarism without directly pointing the finger from my official position. The soft glow of the city seems to pulse with anticipation. My revenge isn't loud or explosive, it's a quiet, systematic dismantling, unfolding in the shadows while they sleep soundly, unaware the storm is gathering. The calls start coming within days. Investors are pulling back from Vanessa's proposed projects, citing concerns about due diligence and data inconsistencies. Whispers turn into rumors circulating through the tight-knit financial community. An emergency family meeting is called at Uncle Raymond's mansion. The atmosphere is frigid. Vanessa is pale, her usual confidence replaced by wide-eyed panic. Uncle Raymond paces, his face thunderous, demanding answers she clearly doesn't have. How could this happen, Vanessa? These were major players. What went wrong with your analysis? I don't know, Daddy. She stammers, close to tears. The numbers were solid. Someone must be sabotaging me. Her eyes dart towards me, suspicion finally dawning. Later that evening, my phone rings. Aunt Irene. Her voice, usually sharp and commanding, is trembling, laced with forced civility. Anya, dear, such a dreadful situation with Vanessa's project. Malicious rumors, you understand. Perhaps you could speak to some of your contacts? Help smooth things over? For the family's reputation. The plea hangs in the air. Help them? After everything? A slow, cold smile touches my lips. This is perfect. Of course, Aunt Irene, I say softly, my voice dripping with false sympathy. Family helps family. I'll see what I can do. I hang up, the plan already forming. This help won't salvage Vanessa's project. It will subtly redirect the remaining resources and attention towards avenues I control, positioning me perfectly for the next phase of my plan, the one aimed squarely at Chen Lin and his father. They think I'm putting out a fire. They don't realize I'm just adding fuel in a more strategic location. A lavish business dinner, ostensibly to celebrate the stabilization of the family company after Vanessa's recent misstep. Stabilized, of course, by the financial rescue plan I discreetly orchestrated, funneling funds through neutral third parties and suggesting strategies via Aunt Irene, making it appear like an internal solution. And who takes the credit? Chen Lin, naturally. He sits across the table, expansively explaining his strategy to a potential investor Uncle Raymond is courting. It was a matter of reallocating assets and identifying new growth vectors, Chen Lin pontificates, gesturing confidently. Vanessa gazes at him, her eyes shining with adoration, completely buying his narrative. He rescued her, her hero. My fingers tighten around the stem of my wineglass. He didn't just steal my love in our past life, he's stealing my work in this one, right before my eyes. The weight of the small, innocuous flash drive in my pocket feels immense. It contains the fully compiled evidence of his father's corporate fraud, the old trails I uncovered and the new ones I found now that I have access from within GlobeTech. Evidence from both lifetimes, woven together into an undeniable tapestry of deceit. He waxes lyrical about financial strategy, oblivious to the time bomb ticking silently in my possession. I wait for a pause in Chen Lin's monologue. Truly brilliant, Chen Lin, I interject, my voice warm with manufactured admiration. Your grasp of the situation was remarkable. That restructuring plan was inspired. I turn to the potential investor. Mr. Zhao, Chen Lin really has a unique talent for navigating complex financial waters. Perhaps I could introduce you to some other potential backers who would appreciate his vision? Chen Lin beams, basking in the praise. He accepts my offer eagerly. That would be fantastic, Anya. Thank you. Across the room, his father watches us. Mr. Chen's eyes narrow slightly as they rest on me. There's a flicker of something confusion, unease. It's like he's trying to place a half-forgotten face, a distant memory stirring just below the surface of his consciousness. He looks away quickly, shaking his head as if dismissing a stray thought. Good. Let him feel uneasy. Let him sense that something is off, even if he can't pinpoint what. His carefully constructed world is beginning to tremor. Midnight again. My office is my sanctuary, my war room. The rescue plan for the family company was just a smokescreen, a way to gain deeper access and trust. Now the real operation unfolds. Phase 1, dissemination. Using multiple untraceable email accounts and encrypted channels, I send curated packages of evidence to specific regulatory bodies and financial crime units. Not everything at once, just enough to trigger audits, investigations. Each package is tailored, highlighting specific discrepancies relevant to that agency's jurisdiction. The evidence points squarely at Mr. Chen's long history of manipulating accounts and diverting funds, carefully omitting any direct link to Chen Lin. For now, Phase 2, acquisition. While the regulators sharpen their knives, my network of brokers executes a series of complex trades through anonymous shell corporations I established months ago. Buying up shares of Chen Enterprises, targeting blocks held by nervous minor stakeholders, acquiring outstanding debt notes, including the ones Uncle Raymond didn't know I held. Slowly, silently, relentlessly, I amass controlling interest. The only sounds are the click of keys, the low hum of the server rack in the corner, and the occasional sigh escaping my lips. The coffee beside me has long gone cold, its bitter aroma filling the air. Outside, the first hints of dawn are painting the sky gray. But inside my office, the darkness of my plan is just reaching its zenith. The news breaks subtly at first. Whispers of regulatory scrutiny surrounding Chen Enterprises. Then, it hits the financial news wires. An official investigation announced into historical accounting practices at Chen Enterprises, focusing specifically on the tenure of its longtime CEO, Mr. Chen. It unfolds beautifully at a high-profile charity gala. I'm standing near the entrance, observing, when I see Chen Lin check his phone. His face drains of all color. He grabs his father's arm, pulling him aside into a shadowed alcove, his expression frantic. Mr. Chen listens, his face hardening into a mask of disbelief, then fury. Vanessa flits between them and me, her eyes wide with confusion and dawning dread. She senses the shift, the sudden dangerous current pulling her fiancé and father-in-law under, but she doesn't understand the source. Her world is tilting, and she's scrambling for purchase. Then, a familiar figure approaches me through the crowd. Wei Zhang. Her eyes meet mine, and this time there's no nervousness, only a shocked, dawning comprehension. She's finally connecting the dots. My sudden rise, the misfortunes befalling Vanessa and the Chens, my presence here tonight, calmly observing the chaos. She opens her mouth as if to speak, then closes it, shaking her head slightly as she backs away. She knows. Or at least she suspects. The mask is slipping. He shows up at my office the next morning, unannounced, barging past Chloe. Mr. Chen. The carefully controlled CEO facade is gone. His hair is disheveled, his eyes bloodshot, his expensive suit rumpled. He looks older, defeated, and finally, he sees me. You, he breathes, recognition and horror dawning in his eyes. The analyst from Globetech, Anya Lin. He remembers, not the rebirth, of course, but the firing. The girl he dismissed years ago. Mr. Chen, I say calmly, gesturing to the chair opposite my desk. He ignores it, pacing like a caged animal. What did you do? He demands, his voice rough. This investigation, it's you, isn't it? Revenge for that misunderstanding years ago? Misunderstanding? I raise an eyebrow. Is that what you call firing someone for refusing to commit fraud? He flinches. All right, I was wrong. I apologize deeply. He stops pacing, leaning over my desk, his voice dropping to a desperate plea. Anya, Miss Lin, you have to help me. This investigation will ruin us. Ruin Chen Lin. Name your price. Money? A partnership? Control of Globetech? Anything. Just make it stop. He still doesn't understand the scope of it, the depth of the game I'm playing. He thinks this is just about the investigation. I let the silence stretch, savoring the moment. the powerful CEO begging at the feet of the employee he discarded. I'll consider helping, I say slowly, deliberately. I reach into a drawer and pull out a single document, sliding it across the polished surface towards him. On one condition, he snatches it up. It's not a proposal for a partnership. It's the final share transfer agreement, the one that will formally consolidate my controlling interest and give me absolute authority over Chen Enterprises, his family's legacy. His eyes scan the page, disbelief warring with dawning comprehension. The price of my help is everything. The emergency board meeting for Chen Enterprises. The air is thick with tension, heavier than the scent of expensive leather and fear. The usual executives line the table, their faces pale and uncertain, whispering amongst themselves. At the head of the table sit Chen Lin and his father, looking haggard but defiant, ready to fight the regulatory storm. Uncle Raymond is there too, ostensibly offering family support, his face a mask of concern. I arrive last, Chloe trailing behind me carrying a slim briefcase. All eyes turn as I enter. Mr. Chen glares. Chen Lin looks confused. Uncle Raymond offers a tight nod. They think I'm here as the Globetech executive holding their debt, perhaps to negotiate terms. I take the empty seat directly opposite Mr. Chen. The company's lawyer clears his throat, ready to begin discussing the investigation strategy. Before we begin, I interrupt, my voice clear and carrying in the suddenly silent room. There's been a change in ownership structure that needs to be addressed. Confusion ripples around the table. The lawyer shuffles his papers. Miss Lin, with all due respect, your debt holdings don't grant. I'm not referring to the debt, I say smoothly. Chloe steps forward and distributes copies of a single document to each board member. As of 8 a.m. this morning, through a consolidation of shares held by several shell corporations and the execution of controlling options tied to the outstanding debt, I am the majority shareholder of Chen Enterprises. A collective gasp. Someone drops a pen. It clatters loudly on the mahogany. Chen Lin stares, uncomprehending. Mr. Chen leaps to his feet, his face purple. This is impossible, preposterous. Quite possible, I assure you. I continue calmly, meeting his furious gaze. Over 53% to be precise, acquired quietly over the past few months. I tick off the shell corporations on my fingers. Apex Holdings, Silverstream Ventures, Meridian Global, all ultimately trace back to me. The heavy silence in the room is broken only by the gentle hum of the air conditioning and Uncle Raymond's sharp intake of breath. The carefully constructed world of Chen Enterprises has just fractured, and I'm holding all the pieces. After the disastrous board meeting dissolves into chaos, Chen Lin follows me back to my office at Globetech. His face is ashen, his usual confidence completely stripped away. He closes the door behind him, the click echoing in the tense space. How? He whispers, his voice hoarse. How could you do this, Anya? Why? He still thinks this is just corporate maneuvering, perhaps revenge for the firing, nothing more personal. I walk to the window, looking out at the city below. Rain begins to streak the glass, blurring the lights. Because you chose her, Chen Lin, again. He frowns, confused. Chose who? Vanessa? What does she have to do with this? I turn to face him, not just in this life, in the last one too. His eyes widen slightly. What are you talking about? Last life? I remember everything, Chen Lin, I say softly, the words landing like stones in the quiet room. I remember us, our plans, the tiny apartment on Elm Street, the way you liked your coffee, the night you told me you loved me under the faulty streetlight. Disbelief wars with dawning horror on his face. That's crazy. Is it? I step closer. I remember the exact excuse your father used when he fired me after I refused to sign off on those falsified Globetech reports, lacking team synergy. I remember Vanessa showing up at your apartment the next day, offering comfort. I remember you telling me it was better this way, that she could help your career. I provide detail after excruciating detail conversations, moments, feelings only someone who had lived that life could possibly know. His face crumples. The confident facade shatters completely, leaving behind raw shock and a terrifying understanding. The faint scent of rain drifts through the slightly open window as his carefully constructed reality collapses around him. He finally understands this isn't just business. It's retribution from beyond the grave. The door to my office bursts open, and Vanessa storms in, heedless of Chloe's attempts to stop her. Her face is blotchy, mascara streaking down her cheeks like black tears. Her usual poise is gone, replaced by raw fury and panic. "You!" she shrieks, pointing a trembling finger at me. "This is all you, isn't it? Ruining Chen Lin, destroying his family's company. How could you be so cruel?" I remain seated, calm amidst her storm. Cruel, Vanessa. Is it crueler than stealing someone's work, not once, but twice? Is it crueler than undermining them at every turn just to secure your own position? "I never," she starts, but the lie dies on her lips. I open a file on my desk revealing printouts. Market analysis reports, business proposals, design concepts. This marketing strategy, mine from 3 years ago in our previous life? This product pitch? Based directly on the notes you took when I confided in Wei Zhang. This quarterly analysis you presented last month? My draft, slightly altered. I lay out the evidence piece by damning piece. Just then, Wei Zhang appears hesitantly in the doorway. She looks pale but resolute. "It's true, Vanessa," Wei says quietly, shame heavy in her voice. "I told you what Anya was working on. I gave you her notes. I'm so sorry, Anya." Vanessa stares from Wei to the evidence, then back to me, her face contorting with disbelief and the dawning, ugly truth of her own actions, mirrored across lifetimes. She has nowhere left to hide. The emergency family meeting redux. Uncle Raymond's opulent living room feels like a courtroom. The air crackles with accusation and fear. Aunt Irene clutches a handkerchief, her face pale. Mr. Chen sits rigidly, defeated. Chen Lin looks broken. Vanessa stares blankly ahead. Wei is absent, having made her choice. I stand before them, not as the supplicant niece, but as the one holding all the power. "You all wonder how this happened," I begin, my voice steady. "Let me enlighten you." Systematically, calmly, I lay it all bare. "Uncle Raymond, you consistently blocked my advancement while promoting Vanessa, using your influence to ensure I never got the opportunities I earned." He flinches. "Aunt Irene, you spread malicious rumors to discredit me after Vanessa stole my initial proposal." She gasps, pressing the handkerchief to her lips. "Mr. Chen, you tried to force me into fraud and fired me when I refused, setting this entire chain of events in motion twice." He closes his eyes. "Chen Lin, you abandoned me for ambition and connections, breaking promises made in 2 lifetimes." He bows his head. "Vanessa, your jealousy and plagiarism were the catalyst for so much of this." She lets out a choked sob. "You all conspired in ways big and small to ensure I failed," I conclude. "But you underestimated me. And now, as the majority shareholder of Chen Enterprises and the controlling force behind Globetech's key divisions, the family business is effectively mine." Aunt Irene collapses back into her armchair, weeping silently. Mr. Chen looks utterly broken. Chen Lin won't meet my eyes. Vanessa stares at me with hollow hatred. Then, something unexpected happens. Uncle Raymond, who had been sitting silently, suddenly starts to laugh. It's a dry, rasping sound. He begins to clap, slowly, deliberately, a mocking rhythm in the stunned silence. "Bravo, Anya," he says, a strange light in his eyes as he looks directly at me. "So, you did remember too. Excellent. I wondered when you'd finally figure it out and make your move." They come to my penthouse separately, like supplicants to a queen. First, Chen Lin. The setting sun casts long, golden shadows across the room, illuminating the desperation etched onto his face while leaving me comfortably in the shade of the darkening living room. "His engagement to Vanessa is off," he tells me, his voice low and strained. "Anya, I was a fool," he says, standing awkwardly before my minimalist sofa. "Blinded by ambition, by pressure, by fear. But I see clearly now, it was always you. I always loved you, even when I made the wrong choice, please. Can there be a second chance, or I suppose a third?" He attempts a weak smile. I remain silent, observing him. The confession feels hollow, rehearsed, born of desperation rather than genuine remorse. Later, Vanessa arrives. The defiance is gone, replaced by a tearful, calculated plea. Anya, I was wrong. Jealous, insecure. I'll do anything. I'll issue a public statement, give you full credit for every idea I ever took. We can expose Uncle Raymond together. We're family, cousins. Surely we can move past this. She offers reconciliation, a partnership forged in mutual victimhood, conveniently forgetting her role as perpetrator. The sunset paints their faces in hues of gold and orange, highlighting the stark lines of their pleas. I listen to both, my expression unreadable, offering neither condemnation nor comfort. Their apologies are transactional, aimed at regaining lost ground, not achieving genuine reconciliation. Aunt Irene hosts a meticulously planned family dinner. Just her, Uncle Raymond, and me. The atmosphere is thick with forced pleasantries. She serves my favorite dishes from childhood, a transparent attempt to evoke nostalgia and soften me. After the main course, she presents a velvet box. Inside rests an intricate antique necklace, heavy with diamonds and history. This was meant for Vanessa, Aunt Irene says, her voice catching slightly. But I want you to have it, Anya, a symbol of a new beginning for the family. A peace offering, weighted with the legacy they always denied me. The heavy jewelry box feels cold in my hands. Uncle Raymond clears his throat, leaning forward. Anya, your takeover was ruthless, but effective. The family needs strong leadership now more than ever. I propose a formal partnership. You lead Chen Enterprises officially. Bring it back from the brink. We'll support you, guide you. An offer of the throne, now that I've already seized it, conditional on their continued influence. I trace the cold facets of the necklace diamonds. They offer trinkets and compromised power, hoping to buy back their influence, to weave me back into the toxic tapestry I just escaped. Wei asked to meet at our old favorite cafe, the one with the worn velvet booths and the scent of roasted coffee beans where we used to spend hours dissecting our lives. She looks smaller now, diminished by guilt. Tears stream down her face as she confesses everything. The details she fed Vanessa, the time she covered for her, the way Uncle Raymond rewarded her loyalty with career boosts. I was so stupid, Anya, she sobs, her words almost unintelligible. So desperate to fit in, to get ahead. I betrayed you, my best friend. The guilt, it's been eating me alive, especially seeing what you've become, knowing I tried to stop it. She fumbles in her bag, pulling out a crumpled letter. I wrote this. A full public confession. Clearing your name from all the old rumors Irene spread. Detailing Vanessa's plagiarism. Raymond's manipulation. I'll release it. It's the least I can do. Her tears seem genuine. Her remorse palpable. Of all the apologies, hers feels the most real, the least self-serving. She offers not personal gain but public restitution for past wrongs. A major corporate gala, the first big event since the Chen Enterprises upheaval. Everyone who matters is here, watching, whispering. It's the perfect stage. They approach me throughout the evening, seeking private moments amidst the glittering crowd. Chen Lin, catching me near the terrace, asks again for another chance, his eyes pleading. No, Chen Lin, I say softly, but firmly. The word hangs in the air between us, clear and final. Vanessa finds me by the champagne fountain, her eyes red-rimmed but hopeful. Anya, please. Let's start over? No, Vanessa, I reply, my voice calm, devoid of anger, just certainty. Uncle Raymond corners me near the orchestra, reiterating his partnership offer, emphasizing family legacy. No, Uncle, I state simply, meeting his calculating gaze without flinching. My refusals aren't born of lingering anger or a desire for further vengeance. They come from a place of peace, of knowing my worth, of recognizing that these connections are fundamentally broken, poisoned beyond repair by past actions and immutable character flaws. I don't need their apologies or their bargains. I've already moved on. As I turn to leave the conversation with Uncle Raymond, intending to exit the gala, Mr. Chen suddenly appears beside me, blocking my path slightly. He leans in close, his eyes gleaming with an unnerving intensity I haven't seen before. Impressive performance, Anya Lin, he whispers, his voice raspy. barely audible over the music. But you're not the only one who remembers the past life. Some of us have been waiting a long time for you to return and shake things up. He gives a small, chilling nod and melts back into the crowd, leaving me stunned, the foundation of my hard-won victory suddenly feeling less solid. 1 year later, I stand in my office, the name Apex Global newly etched onto the frosted glass door. Below, the city hums with life. The view from the top floor of what used to be the Chen Enterprises building is expansive, clear. The company isn't just salvaged, it's thriving, restructured under my leadership and infused with a new ethical ethos. My team, a mix of loyalists who weathered the storm and sharp new hires, buzzes with productive energy outside my door. Many are former Chen employees who quietly resented the old regime and welcomed the change. They're loyal to me now, to the vision I represent. Chloe, now my indispensable chief of staff, brings in the quarterly reports. Profits are up, projections are strong, innovation pipelines are full. I look out at the skyline. Cranes dot the horizon, constructing new towers, new beginnings. It mirrors my own rebuilt life. The distant sound of construction, usually a city irritant, sounds like progress today, like growth, like the future I seized. Mr. Chen's whispered words from the gala occasionally echo in my mind, a persistent, unanswered question mark, but I refuse to let it dim the present. Whatever his game was or is, it hasn't manifested. My focus is here now, weekend brunch. Not at the suffocating family estate, but at a bright, airy restaurant overlooking a park. Sunlight streams through the large windows, warming the table. Across from me sits Wei Zhang. After her confession, she'd insisted on publicly clearing my name regarding the old rumors, a move that finalized her estrangement from the Chen Raymond clan, but cemented her place by my side. She's now my COO at Apex Global, fiercely competent and unwaveringly loyal. Beside her are other friends, people met in this life, connections forged through shared interests and mutual respect, untainted by the betrayals of the past. The conversation flows easily, punctuated by genuine laughter. We talk about work, travel plans, silly gossip, books we've read. It's normal, comfortable, real. The aroma of fresh bread and coffee fills the air, comforting, grounding. There's no undercurrent of resentment, no hidden agenda, no need for masks or careful words. This is my family now. Chosen, not inherited. A family built on trust and shared values, not obligation and manipulation. A business trip to Singapore. I'm attending a tech conference, scouting for new talent and potential partnerships for Apex. During a coffee break in the crowded exhibition hall, my gaze sweeps the room and snags on a familiar face at a small booth tucked away in a corner. Chen Lin. He looks ordinary, tired. He's demonstrating some software to a handful of uninterested delegates. No expensive suit, no easy confidence. Just a man working a job. Our eyes meet across the bustling room for a fleeting second. Recognition flickers in his expression, followed quickly by a wave of what looks like shame, or perhaps just resignation. He breaks eye contact first, turning back to his demonstration, his shoulders slumping slightly. There's no jolt of anger, no pang of satisfaction, not even pity. Just a calm, detached acknowledgement. Our paths diverged completely. Later, through industry chatter, I hear he and Vanessa never married after their engagement imploded. She reportedly moved abroad, trying to escape the social fallout in our home city. Their story continued, just entirely separate from mine. I feel nothing but the quiet certainty that closing that chapter was the only decision. Our shared past is a fact, like history in a book, but it holds no emotional power over my present or my future. Sunset on a private beach. The sand is cool beneath my bare feet. The waves lap gently at the shore, pulling the day's heat away. I'm technically on vacation, but old habits die hard. I'm reading through reports from the Anya Lin Foundation, the nonprofit I established to support and mentor young entrepreneurs, specifically those facing ethical dilemmas or corporate exploitation. Seeing their progress, their small victories against daunting odds, brings a deeper satisfaction than any corporate takeover ever could. My phone buzzes. A message notification. It's from Uncle Raymond. Another attempt at reconciliation. Another vague offer of mending fences, likely tied to some new scheme he needs funding for. I don't even bother reading the full text. I calmly archive it, unanswered, unremarked. His manipulations, like Mr. Chen's cryptic warning, have no hold over me anymore. They are relics of a past I have fully transcended. I breathe deeply, tasting the salt on my lips. It's no longer the bitter taste of unshed tears or bitten cheeks holding back anger. It's clean, refreshing. The taste of the vast, open ocean stretching before me. The cycle of betrayal and revenge is broken. This life, the one I fought for, the one I built from the ashes, it is completely, unequivocally, peacefully mine. I am free.